Money. We on another day in the life of a designer live stream. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you share with your friends and family. Let them know we got going on at Dreams of Ruler Street Fashion. I appreciate all the day ones continuing to support the brand. If today is your first day being a day one, appreciate you joining the community, and make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you share with your friends and family, like I said, so that way, what I'm saying, they can see what we got going on at Dreams of Rulers Street Fashion as well too. Um, Today what we're gonna be talking about is the difference between good design and great design. Um, you know, Typically when it comes to good design, it solves a problem. Great design solves a problem while creating meaning, emotion, and lasting impression. The difference is rarely talent. It's intention, refinement, and, the willingness to make better decisions. Now, in modern day of business, we got trash products. We got decent products, which are pretty much products that, are there to service, a specific want. And then you have good products, which are, good for wants, but also create solutions for specific problems, and also, has somewhat of durability as well too. Now, great product, like it said, has a lasting impression, has a great packaging, to it. Great, good customer experience overall, and as well too, it's made with intention. Damn, I swear these sidewalks in Philly be trying to kill a nigga. But what makes design great, what separates a design people like from a design people remember, is most people judge design by whether it looks good. And the real question, or questions, you should ask yourself, as a designer, is, does it communicate? Does it solve a problem? Does it tell a story? And does it make someone feel something? Will it still matter years from now? Great design isn't just attractive, it's meaningful. It tells it, like we've been saying, you got to have the art of telling a story in order for, your designs to hit home. For people to actually, believe in, the product itself. You got to be able to demonstrate why, it actually has a presence in the market as well too. And why, it's perfect for, your target audience and customer. Because necessarily your target audience and, the audience that you're chasing overall necessarily, may not be the same. So once you identify who that is, then you go right after them. Make sure that, they have a solid experience, and, make sure that they're able to grasp the messaging behind the design. You feel me? Good designers create, great designers, they observe. That's what I like to do primarily, is observe situations, observe people and their patterns. You feel what I'm saying? Observe an overall environment and landscape. You feel me? Before I even really start up a conversation. Because before they sketch, great designers pay attention. Watching how people, move, think, converse, I should say, not conversate, but converse. You feel me? Studying architecture, buildings, layouts, venue spots, similar, to the one that I walk by every night. You feel me? Lower downtown Philadelphia. You feel me? But it's a good, what the fuck, bro? swear this phone acting retarded. But yeah, no. That's why you got, you know, not only study the architecture environments, but it's good to experience those environments as well too. But you know, you learn from different things like nature, you feel me? Then on top of that, history, regardless of if it's specifically for fashion or, just history in general. Then on top of that, just understanding culture and listening, to different things, whether it be music, people's conversations or your own conversations, digesting it, receiving it, seeing how it all, coincides with your overall messaging. And then it leads to insight. You feel me? Observation always leads to insight. That's why I've said, multiple times before on my streams, it's good to listen first instead of, talk. Because God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. 2 more opportunities to hear what somebody has, 2 more opportunities to hear what somebody said, and 1 opportunity only just to, speak your voice. So kind of, sets the lay of the land right there in itself. You feel me? The question that, I want you to think about, when it comes to good designers and great designers is, what am I seeing that others overlook? You feel me? What problem am I actually trying to solve? The quality of your observation shapes the quality of your design. And ultimately, for Dreams of Rulers, what we're trying to do is, not only just give you a great product, great apparel, you know what I'm saying? Or, just an overall great message. We're trying to help you to shape your mindset to move with intent, ultimately. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we get procrastinated in what we do, what we feel, how we move, you know what I'm saying? And that can all lead to negative decisions, especially when, you're not totally locked in or focused. It can lead you to do some, destructive things to what you got going on. And, can end up, hurting you in the long run. And ultimately, if you start building the building blocks of mindset into thinking for yourself in the sense of, I need to move with intention. I need to, not only chase my purpose, but understand my purpose, you know what I'm saying? And, execute that motherfucker for real. Because a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying, don't. And it's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's definitely not a good thing, because a lot of y'all be walking outside like y'all lost, and y'all say y'all know where y'all going. That's the crazy part. And most of y'all actually be asking for directions too. So the real thing is that are you really, locked in? That's how I look at it. Are you really locked in on, your designs? Are you actually building habits to where, your designs can actually go further, where they can actually reach people? They can go, deeper within the mind? Are they, actually designs that solve problems, create solutions? You know what I'm saying? Great design begins with better questions. The first question you should ask is, why should this exist? Not what should this look like? You got to think about, who's it for? What feeling should it create? What story does it tell? What doesn't belong? The strong design decisions come from clear questions, you feel me? Not quick answers. And that's what a lot of people do too. They don't really assess their designs or, look and digest their designs. Great designers edit ruthlessly. Most designs improve through subtraction. You feel me? Removing unnecessary details, simplifying graphics, refining proportions, choosing restraint over excess, and limiting one strong idea that will lead to the ultimate design. You know, you gotta edit, but editing isn't where creativity ends. You feel me? It's where clarity begins. If I remove this element, would the design become stronger? That should be your ultimate question every time you design from now on. If I remove this element, if I remove this logo, if I remove this section of this design, will the design be better? Great design creates recognition. You feel me? Think about why certain designers and brands are recognizable without a logo. You know, consistent visual language. This is what it comes down to. You know, signature silhouettes, material choices, typography, photography. You feel me? All that imagery you put on your, designs, aesthetics. That's, pretty much what we talking about here. The storytelling method behind it, the philosophy. Recognition comes from repeatedly expressing the same point of view with excellence. Great design stands the test of time. Many designers are exciting for a season. Great designers continue to matter because they were created with purpose rather than novelty. Will this still feel relevant 5, 10 years from now? You know what I'm saying? Does it reflect my philosophy or just today's trends? A lot of y'all just be chasing trends. A lot of y'all just be trying to get liked by your peers. A lot of y'all just be, seeing the top designers doing a certain thing, and then y'all go ahead and design it. And then the crazy part is your friends don't know art either. They like that shit. They repost that shit like that shit actually fire. When y'all just took the time to copy off of somebody they already was going to buy from anyway. Funny thing is, most times they don't even buy from you. They go to the brand that you copied off of and they go buy from them. That's how shitty, the world is right now. Just in the sense of, art and creativity. Like, nobody really give a fuck no more about anything. Whether it comes to, shit that, actually mattered. Whether it's shit that, had certain class level to it. Niggas don't give a fuck no more, for real. But overall, I want to instill the mindset, back into our minds, you feel me? Make y'all, aware again of the things that, actually do matter. Even from the standpoint of, the less things that matter. Because all the small details eventually add up. If y'all not, tapped into, what actually matters, what actually don't, then how the fuck, you actually going to defend yourself when something really goes down in the world? Feel me? So, timelessness often comes from, clarity, quality, authenticity, rather than, complexity. You got to reflect on your philosophy. You also got to, be proud in the designs that you create. Understand which ones that, need revisions, which ones that, are actually just great on their own, just from the jump. And then, the ones that you need to put back in your catalog. What's one piece of design you've never forgotten and why? I would say the only design that I've ever created that I'll never forget is honestly the Views from the Trap cover art, because literally reminds me of home, reminds me of all the pain that I felt at home, reminds me of all the happiness and love that I felt at home, all the, it has a mixed bag of nuts, pause, of just emotions that I feel. And plus, it's got, the state and a block I've actually been on in that joint. So it just something that will always stick with me. Plus, like I said, it's my first collection too that I ever dropped. So it's always, that photo is monumental. Then, the next question I want you to think about is, do you think great design is learned, practice, or both? And honestly, great design is ultimately practice. Some have, different attributes that show like they belong. Some have different attributes that show that they belong, but ultimately, it's something that you gotta practice, develop, and become one with. It's not something that, you just develop out the womb and got. You feel me? Because like I said, most people don't even understand true design anyway. They ain't come from it. What's one habit that has improved your creative work for the most? And I would say one thing that just, helped me creatively was, number one, being able to take constructive criticism, and two, just being consistent. The more consistent I got, the more, I did research, those things, those kind of just like changed the overall layout of how I was designing, thinking, processing situations, and even, the design process overall. When I finish a project, or when you finish a project, what questions do you ask before calling it complete? And literally the same questions. Does it communicate? Does it solve a problem? Does it tell the brand story, identity clearly? And, how will it make someone feel, now and 5-10 years from now? You feel me? That's ultimately what I'm thinking about. I want to, develop quality, not quantity. The difference between good and great design isn't usually one brilliant idea. It's hundreds of thoughtful decisions made with purpose. You know what I'm saying? Great designers observe more, question more, edit more, and refine more. They don't chase perfection. They chase and pursue clarity. Often, and over time, those small decisions become the work people remember long after trends have faded. So, you know what I'm saying? Just gotta keep visualizing, keep going after your dreams and goals, you feel me? And can't get lost in the sauce. We all here for a reason. We all going up. And I absolutely hate, Twitch for real. I ain't kick for real, because that John ain't fucking doing my live stream. But I'm about to do that, John. I appreciate, everybody that's got on the stream so far and show love and support. Keep visualizing y'all purpose. Make sure y'all check out the From the Mud collection. Grab your favorite pieces and apparel for you and your kids now. It's all on our website. We also got the spoken word album and the poetry book. So make sure that you tap in, show love, and keep visualizing your purpose. I'm out.